Two recent statements from Jalen Ramsey just lit a fire under Steelers Nation, sparking both warning signs and greater hope. In a revealing interview, Ramsey not only praised Aaron Rodgers' impact in the locker room, but also dropped some pointed hints about why he wanted out of Miami. The veteran says Pittsburgh feels different, in a good way. Could this team finally be ready to shock the league? If you're a real Steelers fan and don't want to miss a single twist in 2025, hit that subscribe button now. Let's get into the video. Jalen Ramsey hopped on the pivot recently and gave us a pretty juicy insight into what's cooking in Pittsburgh, especially around new QB1 Aaron Rodgers. And let's be real. This version of the Steelers is one big mystery box heading into the 2025 season. There's a wild mix of fresh faces and familiar names, and fans are scratching their heads trying to figure out if this team's about to take off or crash and burn. Now, Ramsey's one of the marquee additions this offseason. The man's resume speaks for itself. He's a future Hall of Famer and still playing at a high level. But instead of just sticking to his usual CB role, he's expected to float around the Steelers' defense like a Swiss Army knife. That versatility is huge. But what really stood out was what he said about Rodgers and the kind of fire he brings into the locker room. Ramsey basically said that Rodgers walks into the room and suddenly everyone wants to raise their game. The confidence that he brings to that whole offense, like everybody around him wants to be great, he said. It's kind of like nobody wants to let him down. That's a vibe. It's the same mentality Ramsey said existed with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl in 2021. Back then, he didn't want to let Aaron Donald down. The team had that same respect and drive when Stafford showed up in LA and was trying to prove the haters wrong. Sound familiar? Rodgers is now in that same boat. After two chaotic seasons in New York and a rough Achilles injury that sidelined him for almost all of 2023, he came back late last year and showed he still had some juice left. Not vintage Rodgers, maybe, but still easily one of the top 15 QBs in the league when healthy. And according to Ramsey, that kind of leadership, the "I refuse to be the weak link" energy, is what makes a Super Bowl team click. He's seen it before. And now, he's seeing it again in Pittsburgh. This whole team seems to be feeding off that motivation. You've got veterans like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt who are hungry. Add in Rodgers' drive to prove he's still elite and Mike Tomlin's steady hand guiding the ship, and you've got a cocktail of competitiveness that could surprise a lot of people. Yes, the Steelers could end up in that classic 9-8 range again. But with Rodgers at the helm and guys rallying around his leadership, don't be shocked if they blow right past expectations and end up making serious noise in the AFC. And if you thought what Ramsey said about Rodgers was strong, wait until you hear what he revealed about his exit from the Dolphins. This just dropped and it's stirring up a lot of buzz. Jalen Ramsey sounds like a man who's finally found his football happy place. And he made it pretty clear on the Pivot podcast that Pittsburgh feels like home. The three-time traded All-Pro didn't call anyone out by name, but let's just say the message was loud and clear. Things in Miami didn't exactly hit right. Ramsey opened up about his off-season exit from the Dolphins, saying he's grateful the front office worked with him and his agent, David Mulugeta, to find the right situation. And while he didn't flat-out say Mike McDaniel's name, he left some strong hints that the coaching vibe and team culture played a huge role in his desire to bounce. He broke it down like this. Let's go to a team that's going to be able to compete, where there's a lot of respect for the head coach and the staff, and a place I can continue to play at a high level. Translation? He wanted a team that not only values his game, but also runs a tight, respected operation. And he found that in Pittsburgh. Ramsey was swapped for none other than Minkah Fitzpatrick, which is wild considering Fitzpatrick was once the Steelers' crown jewel in the secondary. But the move made sense for both sides, and Ramsey made it clear. The Steelers wanted me here, and I wanted to be here. Now 30, Ramsey didn't throw any shade at the Dolphins directly. In fact, he thanked them for not just shipping him off to a random team like it was a fire sale. Instead, there was open communication, and he appreciated the mutual respect. "You all have been good to us. I've been good to y'all," he said. Classy, but clearly ready to move on. And oh man, Mike Tomlin is loving the new weapon he's got. He's been raving about Ramsey's effort, intelligence, and versatility. Former Steeler Ryan Clark is hyped too, painting a picture of a defense that could line Ramsey up in 4 or 5 different spots any given Sunday. This isn't just a CB, they're turning him into a Swiss Army knife on defense. Ramsey even got a little reflective, wondering what life would have looked like if the Steelers had picked him back in 2016. "My focus may have been a little bit different at times," he said. "I may have been here my whole career." And he meant it. He's bought into the Steelers' way. The stability, the tradition, the fact that guys genuinely want to be there. "They take care of their own," he added. So yeah, Jalen Ramsey's in black and gold now. And by the sound of it, he's not just playing football. He's finally at peace with where he's playing it. Ramsey looks more locked in than ever, and with Rodgers leading the charge, the vibe in Pittsburgh feels different. If the talent lives up to the mindset, Steelers fans can dream big. Subscribe now so you don't miss any updates from the team.